It's Tristan Linville here on Water Cooler Talks on Manufacturing and Technology, joined by my co-host, Michael Callan. He's
What's
much
going
better
on,
looking
Tristan?
than me, baby.
It's a good day, Tristan, in the neighborhood. What's going on?
Hey, it's episode 13.
13. Wow. And last week was Friday the 13th, right? Wait,
Ooh,
maybe 2 weeks ago. Things just keep, time flies when you're having fun.
that's right, man. That's
That's
right.
what
Well, we're
someone says.
having fun here. And
That's
we're making, with this podcast, we're going to make manufacturing and technology cool again, baby.
so cool. It is cool. I don't know why people don't think it is. It's the coolest thing ever.
Same. But that's
Have
our
you ever
mission
built,
here.
have you ever made a Lego? It's cool. Now put that in comparison, it's like exponentially
Yeah.
cool. That's
Yeah.
terrible. But
I like it.
let's get away from the terrible. Like, what's the joke to get us started?
Oh, so while we're on the terrible train. Okay, great.
Yeah. TT, terrible train.
So, this is really just a public service announcement, and it's for the individual that stole my Microsoft Office. I will find you. You have my word.
That's you excelled at that one. That's pretty good. I
Yeah,
mean,
man.
PowerPoint that one to death.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I
For
don't
sure.
even know what I can't think of another one, but I think we should just stop right now. I think we're like
That's
a
the wrap.
minute in. Someone's smiling. We're good.
Yeah.
Tristan, what are
Hey,
we talking about today?
yeah. So we are talking about IMTS 2024, the International Manufacturing and Technology Show.
Love it. Where is that?
Yeah. So every couple of years they host it in Chicago, Illinois. So you and I a couple weeks ago were at the show, and
Oh,
I
that's
just
where we
figured,
were.
yeah,
Cool.
what a blur.
It was. It
Um,
was a blast though.
yeah, it's fun, but it's like so impactful of a show, and you just see like where the world is going of manufacturing and technology.
Absolutely.
And I just feel like we should take a couple minutes, and this will be a short episode to kind of share what we saw, what we thought, and then we'll call it a day.
I love it. I think I'm looking forward to hearing what you saw because you surfaced the floor a little bit more. I got to talk to a lot of people coming by, but it's amazing the innovation that's happening all across, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's warehousing, and also obviously in the world we represent, which is business systems. It's
Yeah.
everyone's figuring out how to do things that it's like hyper innovation is what I see it as.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it's incredible to see. I don't know if I've ever been in a room with so many robots, right?
Yeah.
In my life.
Absolutely. Let's talk about that. Like,
Yeah.
what do you see from a robotic standpoint?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the future of manufacturing, and we've talked about the labor gap on the show before, and I think we'll touch on it again in this, but the future of manufacturing is so interesting when you have so many applications that these robots can do. And they're really only getting better and better to where, eventually we're going to be able to mimic, the fine point of manufacturing of like the human hand.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because these robots, they don't get sick. They don't call out of work because their girlfriend dumped them. I mean,
have you done that?
No.
So I heard that they also pour beer really well. Can you talk to that?
Yeah. So best booth that I saw was No, there's just better than ours. It was just, I mean, Yaskawa Motomon, right? Very prominent robotics company, but they had this booth bartender, and it was a robot, and you just like scan your badge, and it'll like boop 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 beer, and it just makes these kind of shows fun because you're walking like 10,000 steps, 15,000 steps daily to just circulate the floor. So, but many applications that they're in, you'll recognize them. They're the blue robotic arms. Says Yaskawa across them, but they have so many applications from automotive to even, very fine touch points, all across the world, really.
Yeah.
So really cool
I mean, I
company.
think there's a couple of things that come to mind based on what I saw walking the floor. One of them is it's the health of the employees, right? So maybe it's not taking over the role per se. I mean,
Sure.
yes, it will start doing a lot of those details, but
Yeah.
things like workers' comp issues dropping because the
Mhm.
robot's doing the heavy lifting.
Yep.
And then
Value
maybe
point.
someone's just, yeah, I mean, right, putting it in. Um, but there's also that piece of like, let the employee do the important things,
Hmm.
right? And then let the robots do the not fun
Sure.
details. There's a quote that comes to mind, and I'll post it when we post the podcast because I can't think of it right now.
Yeah.
But it's really about like let the people do the important work. That's
Sure.
but the last thing, I'm a nerd on this. I
Hmm.
love robotics, but then I always think like that's really cool.
Yeah.
How'd you get it to do that? Number one,
Yeah.
right? So there's some system that's telling it to do something. Number
Right.
two, how do you take that piece and bring it back into the business system to say, I have a production order. I have
Yeah.
to take all of these production orders. And it's like that whole end-to-end process is fascinating to me.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is pretty cool, right? And when we're talking like IoT connected devices and being able
Mhm.
to send this information back, and it really goes back to a talk that I sat in on while I was there. And it was a gentleman I think it was, the talk was around AI and robotics, right? And he was talking about I think he owns the company, but he was talking about his shop and how they're constantly pushing the envelope to install robotics. And they were talking about the manufacturing floor of the future, right?
Yeah.
And so let's imagine a weld cell was one thing that they talked about. And so today, maybe you have four different weld cells, right? Well, what he was saying is, what if we have four robots in those
Mhm.
different weld cells and maybe two operators, to make sure that things are going good, things are getting set up appropriately. He even talked about taking magnets, right? Like very high powered magnets. And so you don't have to have it set up appropriately, but the magnets will pull
Hmm.
the parts together and then you can weld it.
That's
Very interesting. But the point is the scalability here um, and really completing this work. So now, say 2 years from now, maybe they have 8 weld cells, but maybe this is maturing. This machine learning and everything is maturing to a level and a pace that you still need those 2 individuals to monitor 8 weld cells. And then
yeah.
maybe you grow to 16, and then you still only need those 2 individuals, right? How many? That's where I want to talk about cutting into the labor gap,
Yeah.
this labor shortage that we're showing by 2030. For those of
Yeah.
you who don't remember, I think it's 3.8 million. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's like
I'm
3.8
with you on
million skilled positions in manufacturing. We're going to be short.
Yeah.
And now we have 16 weld cells that would traditionally have 16 welders, but now we only have 2 individuals to have that same output.
Yeah.
So
No, and
fascinating.
again, I love that. I think that it's like hyper automate or hyper innovation, but
Yeah.
there's also this think downstream and then think back upstream. So for instance, after we're done welding, like how do we then have uh, automated quality inspections
Hmm.
that based on those quality inspections, we're doing something with that information, sending it somewhere, fixing
Yeah.
things on the front end, number one. Number two is upstream. What happens when something goes on with a robot? IoT detects that it's down. Future of manufacturing technology is we're rerouting things to different
Hmm.
machines. We're
Love it.
readjusting production orders. We're telling customer service. All of that happening automated, and we're only handling the exceptions to tell the customer, hey, here's what's going on.
Yeah.
All that other stuff happened. Like that's fun stuff. It's a good one
Yeah.
to end on, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, right, if you haven't been to IMTS, find a way to go to the next one.
Absolutely. You have 2
And
years to get it ready, right?
that's right. And ultimately, it's fun. There's a ton of networking. We hosted a networking event at Wrigley Field. Like, what a great experience in such a great city at this time of year. We were in Chicago, to just really talk business, network,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
see what the future looks like. It's so cool.
Well, Tristan, let's close it
Yeah.
out with because we wanted to keep this one short.
Yeah.
I see you have an FSU shirt, and
Ooh.
they're on the opposite side. They're kind of going opposite year this year. Instead of 3-0
Yeah.
to 0-3. What's going on with the shirt?
Yeah. So, one, go Knowles. Always support my boys and gals. I worked in women's basketball for those that don't remember from episode 5. But hey, this is basketball,
Let's
baby.
go. Hey,
Let's move on.
we're close to basketball season. There is hope.
Oh, let's move out of football. Let's go to basketball. Go Knowles.